Hello and welcome. My name is Samuel Ray and this is s-factor-sam. So I am continuing my Art of Rally challenge series. So I initially had the challenge set upon myself to attain a top 50% performance in a weekly rally. So I finally did that. It was actually using a Porsche on stages that were mostly tarmac. It worked out perfectly. Car I was good with. Tracks that were good for it, stages I should say. Yeah, so definitely go back and watch that. It was kind of a triumphant moment for me. I'm not usually a leaderboard chaser, but this game I enjoy it so much, and it has just enough room for that skill expression to make that feel doable, and it's a real satisfying experience. So after that, I decided to go for top 10% because on the run where I got the top 50%, I didn't just get top 50%, I got top 30%. So rather than trying to just go a tiny inch higher at top 25%, I decided to go big and aim for top 10%. So we're about to find out how well I can do with that. Now, I did encounter an issue. I recently updated my graphics drivers because I am using kind of old hardware on my PC. I like running this game on PC much more than on my PS4. You can just make it run smoother and look nicer. Well, after updating my graphics driver, I encountered some weird stutter. I'm not entirely sure why, but it took a while to figure out what the issue was. I had to do some research after recording this, and yeah, as it turns out, after that update, for whatever reason, I have to run the game in full screen rather than borderless windowed. So I have to have it full focused full screen, and then it works great. I'm not sure what changed, but you know, updates, right? That's just how it be. I tried to update the graphics drivers so I could better play other games like Le Mans Ultimate and some other modern racing games and racing sims. Had to give up the ability to run Forza Motorsport in the process, but after playing some other sims, I realized I don't enjoy Forza Motorsport as much. It feels very floaty and slippery in comparison. But this game has just enough weight. It feels good. So you'll see the stutter. I apologize for that. There's nothing I can really do to smooth that out after the fact. Like I said, I learned that if I run this in full screen mode, it'll work better. So now that I know that, I'll be back in business with much smoother video going forward. Yeah, throughout this recording, I was trying to fix the issue. Just for whatever reason, I was running bad. And it took a while to figure it out. So my performance may not be as well as I'm aiming for. Like I said before, aiming for top 10%. Since I already was able to achieve not only top 50%, but top 30%. So I felt like just trying to set the next goal to 25% would be a bit too small of an improvement. With all the stutter though, it really did mess with my ability to drive because it would keep my inputs, but I couldn't, it messed with my ability to react properly. It made for a very interesting experience. Now the car itself was not a bad one. Under throttle, it was not super squirrely in the rear. Didn't want to fishtail a lot, so I liked that. I hate super torquey cars that want to fishtail if you put too much throttle down. I like a more balanced accelerating experience, which is probably why I like the Porsche so much, because those things being rear engine, the rear stays planted while you're accelerating. Although it does make it a little harder to turn under acceleration, so you have to, slow in, or smooth in, smooth out, right? Slow in, fast out method of driving. Now this car is definitely also rear-wheel drive, but like I said, it's not too terribly balanced. Um, I am able to take turns decently smoothly. However, yeah, try to get a little slide in here, like so. Um, Definitely a little more difficult, not as well balanced, but it does have more oomph behind its acceleration than the Porsche does. Porsche rewards smoothness. This thing is a little more not unforgiving, just got a little more kick. So you're able to do power slides like so. But it also resulted in me being a little rough into the turns. So I was trying to focus on possibly getting a good slide through the apexes. Nice little cuts like that, but that didn't necessarily get me penalties, but wouldn't take me off the stage too much to slow down. Alright, so I got a top 65% completion on this stage. Not too bad. Next one, tarmac. So we're getting a lot of tarmac, which for a rally game, I mean, for most drivers, I mean, tarmac is, asphalt is what we're used to driving on, so it translates into usually better performance for most people, especially rear-wheel drive cars, though. They are really designed for driving on smooth surfaces under ideal conditions. As soon as you throw water, gravel, dirt, snow into the mix, then they become a lot harder to drive unless you use purpose-built tires like snow tires or dirt tires, off-roading tires. And even then, the rear wants to step out more often than if you were driving a front-wheel car or an all-wheel drive. So this stage has these dumb little rocks on the side of the road at certain points. I really hate those. They can really damage your car if you run into them. There, I wasn't even expecting those chicanes. For whatever reason, I just became almost nose blind, kind of blind to them and didn't even notice them. Just hard bumping into them. It was a bit rough. And you see, that was an example where the torque of the rear wheel drive kind of made it hard for me to stay on the tarmac after the turn. Trying to smooth out my turns a little more. And my first real spin. That time I landed a bunch more flat and even. And I got to hit a nice power slide through that turn though. Since I went off track, it kind of resulted in a bit of a speed loss. And then see, you could tell it was here during all these right angle turns that I was trying to take a more smooth in, smooth out kind of approach. Slow down early in advance. And then power out of it, but too much momentum there. So unfortunately, you don't take an immediate penalty upon going off track, but you do take an immediate speed penalty. So yeah, we got a 75% on that one. A little worse. So now we got tarmac and it's a longer stage with fog, reduced visibility, but we do get our repair stop because these things are always 4 stages with a repair phase in the middle. Also, I must add, the music in this game is such a vibe. Like, the way it just seamlessly continues playing from the time you boot up the game to till you close out the game. No interruptions. No loading screens interrupt the music. It gives it such a zen feel. You can really, it promotes you getting in the zone. right, hitting the flow stick. So from an impact earlier, we did take some gearbox damage, which restricts our acceleration. So repairing that will help improve performance back to baseline. And sometimes you can really feel a difference. I mean, acceleration is a big deal when you're taking winding roads and having to slow down, or getting slowed down by going off track like that, or taking right angle turns like this. And I went blind to those rocks too. And then I tried to turn around by going backwards and whipping around, but then I got a reset. And every time you go far enough off stage to initiate a reset like that, or hit one of the reset zones at a no-cut turn, you will accrue 5 seconds penalty. On top of the fact that once it fades back in, your car is at full standing stop, and you gotta accelerate back to, usable speed. So the penalty is really worse than 5 seconds. It's 5 seconds plus a full start stop. So depending on the acceleration of your car, it can actually be more like 7 to 10 seconds. One thing you have to learn about rallying is cutting corners. Depending on the corner, cutting can be good. It can actually save you time. You just have to be careful where you do it, because even in like this game does have a tire puncture system, but it's usually caused by impacts rather than objects, on or off the road. In more realistic rally sims, or in real life rally, of course, simple sharp rock jutting out just on the side of the road or the path that you're driving on can be enough to burst a tire. Especially if you hit it hard enough and you're going fast enough. And then you have to stop and you have to change the tire yourself along with your co-driver. Now this game isn't that realistic, so usually it only happens when you hit something really hard on the side of your car. But regardless, it's still there, and this game doesn't have a co-driver system. Instead, it uses this semi-overhead camera so that you can see far enough ahead of you to essentially remove the need for co-driver callouts. And then there I went off stage again. So another 5-second penalty, and then it took me another 2 to 3 seconds to get back up to speed. So it really more like was 8 seconds slower. And wider open spaces like this, when you get a really wide, I don't know, some of those turns, I had so much stuttering. I think it was like 3 stutters in 1 second. So it got really rough to try and drive this well while the game itself is stuttering so much. And the problem with the stutter is that the game would keep running, but the graphical display, the graphical visuals would not. They would hitch for a split second. And I got so close to initiating another reset there. I was trying so hard not to. And it was much worth it, because picking up 2 to 3 seconds and then getting back on stage is much better than picking up 5 seconds plus 3 to get up to speed. I don't think this game has a tire wear system either, so being a real power slide where the tires smoke isn't as detrimental as it can be in real life. And I do feel like that would be a bit too much for a game with a style like this. This game has just enough realism, and then stupid little fail. I really don't like this. But at least in this game, the hay bales don't act as solid concrete pillars, like in some other games. Oh gosh. That is just the worst when you run into a hay barrel and it's just rigid, immovable. So yeah, those resets really didn't help me. I got 85%. Alright, final stage is up. Another tarmac stage. It's a real shame that I had to deal with those technical issues because a car that's not swirling in the rear and tarmac stages really should have been a good combination for me to do well, just like in my Porsche run. In this case, we have the railings, which really let you grip onto your car and then spin you out. So I had to be real careful when I saw those. And I didn't see that one. Because of the combination of stutter and it being very thin and hidden in shadow. So that one was definitely partly on me. I should have expected more railings considering I was just driving past or between two of them a second ago. So you have to be real careful when your turn has railing on the outside. It's far too easy to just clip one at an angle and get spun out. And this particular stage has a lot of hairpin turns while you're climbing up the mountain. So it's hard to drift around them because you build up a lot of momentum and you have to hit just the right entry angle. And I am not quite a master at that in any form or racing game. Well, semi-realistic to realistic racing title. Also, with such a wide angle view of the mountain, stutters can get real bad at certain points. And it's even worse when it happens upon a turn, because then it becomes really hard to keep precise steering angle, so to speak, even though I'm using a controller. And see, I couldn't even see that really either. It's the glare from the sun. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So I tried dropping my settings again because stutter was continuing to happen and the impact was causing my car to smoke. It's not great. That means engine damage. At least I think, but the smoke is coming from the rear, so maybe it's issue with something else, but I'm pretty sure it's just engine damage. And I say just engine damage, but like, it's kind of like the most important part. So that's not exactly great. But I am close to the end of the race, so I decided to just push through and get to the end. So yeah, that's the run. Time to look at the final result. Alright, let's see how well I did. The event. Leaderboard. And top 65%. So yeah, about what I expected. I didn't think I was going to be doing so well in this run. Like I said, encountered a lot of technical issues, constant stuttering. That alone is enough to throw just about anybody off their game. So it's unfortunate too because the combination of stages and car should have been a good setup. Not quite a Porsche on tarmac, but close. So we'll have to see how things go next. So come on back to see how I do. Can I make that push to top 10% in a weekly? Come along for the ride to find out. Thank you for making it this far. My name is Samuel Ray. This has been S-factorsam. And if you enjoy this, then on screen you should be seeing another video you will enjoy. Hope to see you there. Later.